Great. We will start off with Michael Grady from Yes Network.
Hey, Coach. With respect to his privacy, is there any more light you can shed on Kyrie's situation and whether or not this may be an extended absence?
I don't know. I've sent him a message. I just found out, so I just sent him a message in the last half hour, and haven't heard back yet. But obviously thinking about him and hope all is well. And it's a private matter.
Is there an update on Durant's situation?
I think the Kevin situation is that if he continues to test negative, he can play Sunday. So that's all I have on that. But hopefully, can't wait for Sunday to come.
Thanks, Coach.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
Hey, Steve. Understanding that you have a pretty important game in front of you, I'm curious on a side note. What was your reaction when you were watching the chaos that went on last night in the Capitol? And was that a kind of a conversation among a lot of the players, particularly kind of the disparity in the way we've seen law enforcement act last night and the way they acted toward a lot of the protests, the BLM protests that these guys were taking a part in?
I'm sure it is. To be honest, when we kind of got word of what was happening, practice was over. And then we haven't seen the guys until they've just started to trickle into the building. So I haven't had any experience talking to anyone about it, but I'm sure it's on everyone's mind, the obvious and flagrant disparity in the way these situations are treated. And I think we're all in lockstep as to, how, just unequal these situations and scenarios in society is, and that's why players in the league have continued to fight and change for change and social justice. And here we are again. So this is going to be a long fight and a long battle to reach, hopefully equality one day, but better levels of equality in the meantime. And it continues.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Coach, is it at all hard or difficult to focus in on a single game when you've got something much larger than basketball looming, not just over this team or over the NBA, but just over the country right now?
I think it definitely puts things in perspective from as far as your workplace goes. We put our life into the game. We have passion for it, and we work every day to try to, give everything we have to this. And that these situations are a reminder that it's just a game, and that there's so many inequities in our society and in the world that are so much bigger than the game we play.
Alex Schiffer with The Athletic.
Steve, you said that you guys haven't talked about yesterday's events as a team. You saw some NBA teams kneel and meet and converge before the game. I take it there's been none of that with you guys and Philly.
Oh, yeah, it's been a full day preparing, but I haven't actually had the chance to talk to the players or Philly about it yet. So I can't update you there at this moment.
Malika Andrews, ESPN.
Hi, Steve. We also saw that Tyler Johnson was added to the health and safety protocol. Is that something that is completely separate from Kevin Durant? Did he test positive for COVID? And is that affecting anyone else on the team that you know of?
No, it is separate from Kevin, completely isolated to Kevin's situation. And he has not tested positive for COVID. So he's just in the contact tracing protocol, basically, and has been testing negative, and he'll go through that protocol, and hopefully he'll continue to test negative.
Brian Mahoney with Associated Press.
Hey, Steve, last game of a long homestand today, which obviously you didn't have a great record on. When this was scheduled, did you kind of say, God, I wish this was in February or March because we're not going to be that, good yet, maybe. And, maybe in February or March, you could actually have fans here, even at least some small number. And, right now, obviously, it's not even really feels like a home game.
Yeah. I never put too much thought into it. I think, I'm still saying, still looking at things from a long-term perspective. So I don't want to analyze the schedule and think of what could have been. I'm looking at how can we continue to improve with a very shortened camp and 17 games in January, so to speak, and just trying to learn to figure out under these conditions how we can improve. And so that's what it's about, is if we're continually seeking ways to improve and we're improving at any sort of rate, we'll be a really good team at some point. But so I'm not as caught up in that stuff, but it is a good point. We definitely took our lumps early here, and hopefully those opportunities to learn are going to benefit us a lot down the road.
Joe Varden with The Athletic.
Hey, Steve. I'm not asking you to tell us what the reason is, because I know how this works, but do you actually know personally why Kyrie isn't here?
I don't. I haven't spoken to him yet. I messaged him, and then when I found out and came in here, basically talked to you guys. So I don't have an update on that.
Tom Dowd with BrooklynNets.com.
Hey, Steve, you guys are wearing some throwback uniforms from the 91 season tonight, and the 90s had some kind of wild NBA jersey styles from when you first came into the league. What do you think of the throwbacks tonight, and what do you think of those 90s NBA styles in general? High point, low point, somewhere in between?
Yeah, I mean, there's some great ones. I think the ones that we're going to wear tonight are great, and definitely you can tell they I don't want to go as far as say they're a period piece, but they have a date on them in a sense, a style and an era, and I think it's super fun. I wouldn't say that about every uniform of every era, but they certainly do have some classics from each era, and I think it's cool that we're going to roll those out tonight.
We'll go back to Christian Winfield with the Daily News.
Hey, Coach, you had spoken about previous film sessions and there being a lot to clean up. I'm curious what you see in the last film session, and is it kind of refreshing to watch that film session and see kind of some of the old areas that you guys have made mistakes now starting to straighten themselves up?
Yeah, I think the number one thing that stood out for me was the gang rebounding. There was plenty of clips, pictures of, 5 guys around Rudy Gobert in our paint, and that was great. It was diligent, the concentration, the connectivity, and the that understanding that to win we got to do this. So it's going to be something that's going to take time for that to be a habit, but it was outstanding last time out.
Shlomo Sprung with Forbes.
Hey, Steve. Do you know if Jared is going to start tonight, building off of his performance the last game, and how the matchup looks with your big man against Joel Embiid?
Yeah, Jared will start. It's a tough match. Oh, we lost you. Sorry. I'll answer the first question. Jared will start, and he will have an incredibly tough matchup. I think Joel is about as unique a player as we have, with his size, length, mobility, skill. He's not only obviously very tall, but he's also one of the strongest guys and hardest to move in this league. So he's an elite player, elite center, and he'll be a challenge for our entire team, not just for JA.
And back to Alex Schiffer with The Athletic.
Hey, Steve, one more in Philly for you. You said yesterday offensively how they've added a lot of shooters around Ben and Joel. Defensively, they're off to a really hot start. So just what stands out to you about them defensively?
Joel, he guards the paint, makes it very difficult. But Ben also is an elite defender. So, they've had a great start defensively, and you got to give Doc credit as well. And, you can have the pieces, but you still have to find the system that works. And right now they're doing great defensively. So hats off to them, and we'll have a great challenge tonight to create good scoring opportunities.
Thanks so much, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. How about that?
You did it.